Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful sunny day today. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Boonville. Please help us all to always make the best decisions for the people that we serve. Thank you so much, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call.
Evans,
Here.
Meadows,
Here.
Beach,
Here.
Hurt,
Here.
Carter,
Here.
Ehlers, here, Heaton,
Here.
Young.
Here.
Hearing of citizens' comments at this time. If anyone in the audience would like to make a comment, this is the time when you are welcome to come to the podium and speak. Seeing none, we will move on to approval of the minutes of the January 20th, 2015 council meeting. They were in your packet. You've had the weekend to read them. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Ned?
Yeah, I had one note. Let me get there. The continued discussion on hospital matters. The very last paragraph, after some discussion and the motion and all of that, during that discussion and passing of the motion, Earl made a comment about the foundation and the possibility of a contribution from the foundation, and that didn't appear anywhere in that paragraph. That is correct, isn't it, Earl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, and Teresa, I don't know how you fit that in. Maybe you just ask Earl what he said, but in that paragraph, he had offered to talk to the foundation.
We can amend it a little bit tomorrow. Okay. Okay, I'll just add that in there along with the ID and the MFA.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other corrections or additions? They will stand as amended. Consent items, we have two this evening. Considered change order number 2 from B&P Patterson LLC in the amount of $5,362 for the Spring Street improvements. And item 2 is consider pay request number 3 from Stockman Construction in the amount of $56,465.10 for the concrete street repairs. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
Mayor,
Morris?
make a motion this be approved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Becky? Any questions or comments on that? Roll call.
Evans,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ehlers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay, presentation of accounts and claims. Teresa, when you're ready, if you would please read that.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Boonville as follows. Section 1. For the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the City of Boonville, which have been allowed by the Council at the regular meeting thereof on February 2nd, 2015, the sum of $673,338.74. General Fund, $333,328.47. Sanitation, $28,405.86. CIP tax, $27,363.45. Waterworks, $119,314.29. Capital projects, $7,807.33. Wastewater, $69,290.96. Tourism, $5,155.97. Gaming, $73,419.90. Parks and Water, $9,252.51. Section 2. The bookkeeper is hereby authorized and instructed to draw the checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $673,338.74, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3. This ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage First reading on February 2nd, 2015, read for the second time this second day of February 2015, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, make a motion this be approved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kari. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Evans?
Yes.
Meadows?
Yes.
Beach?
Yes.
Hurt?
Yes.
Carter?
Yes.
Ayers?
Yes.
Heaton?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Unfinished business. Item A, consider joint resolution R 2015-02, intergovernmental agreement between the City of Boonville and Cooper County Memorial Hospital for partial funding of surgical equipment.
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing and approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Boonville, Missouri and the Cooper County Memorial Hospital to partially fund the purchase of state-of-the-art surgical equipment in order to restart surgical business operations at the hospital, retain professional and technical jobs, and stabilize the local healthcare economy. Whereas Cooper County Memorial Hospital has determined that providing the community outpatient surgery services at the hospital is beneficial to not only the citizens of Cooper County, but also the hospital's financial viability, desire to retain highly skilled employees and attract additional physicians to practice at the hospital, and whereas even though the hospital is showing signs of improving financial viability, the hospital's chairman of the board and chief executive officer have represented that the hospital is unable to secure traditional bank financing at this time to finance the $235,000 necessary to purchase replacement state-of-the-art surgical equipment to re-outfit the operating rooms for the desired outpatient surgical services. And whereas Cooper County Commission has pledged $125,000 in support of this surgical equipment replacement purchase, with $110,000 remaining to be raised, and whereas the City of Boonville supports the need to restart the outpatient surgical operations and grants $60,000 to the purchase of the state-of-the-art surgical equipment under the terms and conditions of the attached intergovernmental agreement. Therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that the City of Boonville hereby approves the intergovernmental agreement for surgical business operations, job retention, and economic development, herein attached as Exhibit A, and incorporated by reference between the City of Boonville and Cooper County Memorial Hospital. Section 2, that the mayor and the city clerk are hereby authorized the execution of said intergovernmental agreement on behalf of the City of Boonville. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval by both parties to the agreement, passed the second day of February 2015 by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, make a motion this resolution be approved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
I think Ned had his hand up. I
Okay,
have to
I
give him
didn't see
credit.
him. Use your elbow next time. As soon as my back turned. Go this way with one arm, this way. Yeah. Knock 'em
There you
off.
go, right, yeah.
Okay, discussion.
It's probably a Megan
Noah.
question. Megan, in section 3, I'm sorry, section 3, and then section 3 of section 3 agreement. I'm sorry, section 4 of it. The hospital shall report progress quarterly or more often, activities warranted to the city council. Kind of a two-edged sword. There's no deadline to that either. I mean, forever or...
I think we kind of discussed leaving it open a little bit. Obviously, I think it's important that, number one, we give them a format that they can express to the community upgrades and new services and so forth, but also a little bit of an obligation on their side to talk about what they've actually done, what equipment, and the results of what they've been able to do that. I mean, we can fine-tune it anymore, but
It's something in the future we could just say there's no longer a need for it.
Right.
Okay. All right.
it's a one-time funding, and I think it probably would result maybe a year's worth of quarterly reports to give them that. And more often, if they need to come in and talk about it again, it was almost more of an opportunity for the hospital to talk publicly about their services as well.
Progress. All right.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Evans,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
New business. Item A, first reading of bill number 2015-002, amending solid waste collection fees.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending certain parts of Chapter 21, Article 5, Section 21-181, relating to solid waste collection fees, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Item B, first reading of bill number 2015-003, amending chapters 5, 7, 13, and 21 to clarify authority and scope of code officials for code enforcement and initiatives.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending Chapters 5, 7, 13, and 21 to clarify authority and scope of code officials within the City of Boonville, Code of Ordinances in support of newly approved code enforcement initiatives, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor?
Yes.
I know we don't want to discuss that, and I'm fine with that, but I was wondering if we could ask Megan to give us a Cliff Notes version of what this changes. I started reading this, and I just got lost, Megan, I'm sorry.
Sure, that's all right. It was difficult trying to put it down in a format. This is about the third version of how I was trying to move forward with it. But as you know, there's not one place you go within the state statutes to find our authority to enforce codes on private property. So you kind of have to start from the fact that you've got some information in fire, some of it in general building, some of it in dangerous building. And that then precipitated, that's kind of how it's done within our code book. So we have a chapter on buildings, new construction, we have a chapter on fire, we have a chapter on public nuisance and dangerous building, we have a subchapter on weeds and debris, and so it's kind of throughout a variety of our code sections. But what we wanted to do was to make sure that we tried to dovetail some of the terminology that's in our international code books. They always refer to it as a code official in our international code books, but we don't have a, quote, code official. We have a building inspector and we have a health inspector. So what I attempted to do was to take, for example, on the first page on Exhibit A, right now, our current code describes what the building inspector does. There's hereby established a position of building inspector. He's a designated department head and reports to the city administrator. The second part is probably the more germane part. The building inspector shall perform the functions provided for in the building official code. So he's got the code, and as is described in his job description. Well, as we know, we've talked about broadening some of those responsibilities. So tried to pull in and revise some of that language so that talks about not only the job description and job functions that are performed in the code, but also throughout the additional pieces. The fire department, same way, but it's probably the most changed because we are adding a new component with the fats, oils, and grease, as well as doing some additional code enforcement on fire inspections and general commercial. So taken what is fairly germane in our current code, which is on the left-hand side, and then added in so that we actually have authority in our code that brings forward, so the fire department has the authority to go through and look at the fats, oils, and grease, the commercial, fire, and those kind of things. So broadened that to put that in there. And then what we are actually also doing is, we've got a meeting tomorrow, and we're going to sit down and we're going to go through job descriptions and the code book one more time just to make sure I haven't missed anything in trying to pull all those job descriptions forward. So we're just trying to make sure it's consistent and it dovetails with what aspects of the code enforcement initiatives that each group of persons is doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Reports of standing committees. Park Board, Steve?
Basically, they reviewed their 5-year plan. If there's any questions, you should have a copy of the minutes.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, reports of city officials, city administrator,
I don't have anything.
mayor, I have nothing. City councilor, Megan?
I do have a brief announcement. We have been docketed for a trial date on March 9th for our Highway 87 annexation trial. So March 9th will be before Judge Kaufman and put on evidence. Lou Leonardi will conduct that, and he will have several witnesses to produce. We've had no objections from any of the folks that were filed on the as defendants in the lawsuit. So
And that's here, isn't it?
that is here in Cooper County, March 9th. Yep. That's the last piece of our annexation approval process.
Economic development, Jim Gann.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. In your packet is the Economic Development Report, and I would just like to highlight a few things and then respond to any questions you may have. First of all is I've been working with the IDA and the MFA to do some strategic planning, the goal of which is to not only inform me of what they expect me to do, but also probably to set a direction for economic development and set priorities for the community that you could then take under advisement like you do your other boards and committees. We've had some movement on that. A committee has been formed chaired by Chad Gaines, and we will be meeting shortly to start that process, which I think will be very beneficial not only to me but to you as the council. So that committee is Chad Gaines, Bob Irish, Wilbert Meyer, myself, and Kate maybe. So that's a positive step in raising the level of advice that the IDA and the MFA can provide you as we move forward on our initiatives. Some things that I'll point out on item 2B is we are working in the midst of the other issues going on with the hospital. We are working collaboratively. We're working to set a date to work with them collaboratively to make a compelling proposal for a project that we see on the horizon. Just wanted you to be aware of that there are some other benefits that we're reaching out to the hospital about. Item 2E, is the Nordine facilities have been listed. That is the plant and the distribution center. The listing agent is Binswanger Realty, which I believe I've told you before, but I've now met with the agent that's responsible. I have updated the Location One database, which is a site selection database used by site selectors, so it is out there on the internet. One thing that's you might want to be aware of is we've worked with Ameren. Ameren is going to spend some of their dollars to have that featured in Area Development Magazine. So this is a magazine targeted towards site selectors. So Ameren is going to spend some marketing money to assist us with that. Item 6B1, I had previously reported to you that the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has approved our high school, our alternative energy course for students and adults. We have received now the official notification letter. So prior to that it was verbal, but we do have the documentation in hand. Item 6D, Nordine, a job fair, career fair Education Fair has been set for Tuesday, March 19th, to be held on the campus of State Fair Community College. I'm sure I'll have more details forthcoming, and I just neglected to write the time down, or I would have told you that, but it is going to be on Tuesday, March 19th. The last thing I'd like to cover is on 9D, is that I have produced a year-end economic development report. I will have that to you after I present it to the IDA so that they can see it first. And then in the information that I gave you, I also shared with you, just for your own edification, the impact of the University of Missouri, your collaborative partner, the impact on Cooper County, Missouri. I thought you might find that interesting as to how many students live here, how many alumni live in Cooper County. 411 employees of live in Cooper County, tax generated, all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought you might appreciate that. Any questions I can answer? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, City Clerk, Teresa.
I want to remind the city council that the next regular council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 17th, due to the President's Day holiday on Monday, February the 16th.
Miscellaneous. Anybody have any miscellaneous this evening?
We looking at.
I know.
Steve and I both looking
Miscellaneous?
at.
Well, I'll call for a
Don't worry,
motion
there'll
to
be a time.
adjourn before he thinks of something to
Yeah.
bring up.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thanks.
Yeah, it changes.
Here.